Hey guys, my name is Danish and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to talk about the Apple smartphone ecosystem. So without further ado, let's just get started. So I have done the remaining budget segments and the higher price segments of the best smartphone for your bang in the Android segment, but the thing is I couldn't do the same with the Apple devices and put them in each separate category because it will be an apples to oranges comparison, because the OS is different, the RAM management is different, the specs are different, and even the hurdles are also different for adaptation from either an Android to an iPhone or the other way around. So I kept it out of all of those lists, but if you want to watch out all of those lists of the spec breakdowns and the best bang for your buck smartphone for each category, you can check out all of these videos in this playlist here. I have done one for the under 30, the under 40, and then the best flagship as well. So for the iPhones, it's a bit more of a linear lineup, if I can say so, with all of the previous models in their current lineup. So if you start out at the bottom most point over here, which will be the iPhone SE at 39,900, which is under 40. Then we have the iPhone 11 at 49,900, which is under 50. Then we have the 12 mini, which is 59,900, which is under 60. And then at the under 70 point, we have two phones, that is the iPhone 12 and the 13 mini. So there is the overlap here with the latest generation. And then we have the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max in the 1 lakh and above segment, which I don't think I really have to cover, because if you're already looking at that price point, these bottom tier devices will not even come into your consideration. So I'll concentrate on all of the ones that are under 70,000 for now. So which device should you buy in this price bracket? So the lowest device that I can recommend would be the iPhone 11, because the iPhone SE does have a lot more compromises in terms of either the design segment, the display size, the display resolution, and even the hardware inside, because the A13 Bionic is the same with the iPhone 11 and it gives you great battery life, but it also has the smallest battery, which is under 2000 milliamp hours. And the other drawback with the SE is the selfie camera can only pump out 1080p 30, while all the rest in the remaining lineup can do 4K 60. And if you're thinking there's the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max, why isn't it included right now? Because both of those have been dropped from the Apple Store the moment the 13 series was released. So the de facto line for the modern generation is the 13 mini and goes higher than that, and Apple has allowed the 12 and 12 mini, and then the 11 for the budget segment, and the SE for the nostalgia slash small form factor device, even though the mini comes and takes over that space, but just still the SE with the Touch ID still reigns a bit more. And the iPhone 11 is the highest grossing iPhone that has been there in their lineup for quite a few years now, because it is popular and it is in a good price bracket right now during the sales that happened for Diwali and all of these seasonal sales, and also even the Christmas sale that is gonna come up soon will also have all of these devices drop in price and then be more accessible to even more viewers and more people who are looking to buy an iPhone. So you might be thinking, why should I listen to this guy about iPhones? Because I have daily driven an iPhone for nearly 5 years. I have a MacBook Pro which I daily drive every day, an iPad Pro, which video you can go check it out over here, and I am engrossed in the Apple ecosystem, so I keep tabs on its updates. So the iPhone 11 is a good starting point for anybody looking to get into the modern lineup, which is the Face ID without the Touch ID implementation and the rounded big notch at the top. Even though the 13 series has a bit smaller, but the 13 series is still out of reach of 3 other devices which come before it, with the A13 Bionic and the A14 and now the A15. All of them are powerful enough to run everything you throw at it for the given screen sizes, and you don't have to worry about RAM, because RAM management is really good in iOS. And this is where 4 gigs of RAM in the topmost line of device here in the Apple lineup makes sense, and we don't see the 10, 12 or even 18 gigs of RAM that the Asus has to show off its specs. On to display sizes, the iPhone 11 is the one in this lineup which is lacking with a 820p screen, and the iPhone SE obviously has a 720p screen, and everything above that has either a 1080 or a 1080 higher, and they all use OLED panels except the 11 and SE, which is not a bad thing for the budget segment. It's really good. Even when you enter into it, even those LED screens are not bad, they are really good and you will really enjoy it. And the cameras, even from the SE all the way to the 13 Pro Max, all of them do 4K 60 at the rear. The telephoto and the ultra Android are missing in most of these devices other than the Pro devices, but the 11 and the 12 and the 12 mini also have the secondary sensor as well on top, and all other features that you might have a requirement for, that is IP68, all of these devices have. Wireless charging, all of these devices have. Stereo speakers, all of these devices allow stereo speakers. Wi-Fi 6 is something else that is new but not really required, but yeah, it is there for those who are looking for it. And all of them allow fast charging up to 18 watts, which is not bad actually. 18 watts is suitably safe for most users to use and charge up on, and all of these warp charging and 120 watts, 60 watts, all of these just degrade your battery more and more, and that's a longevity thing and not something that is a quicken the pace of the charging thing. But yeah, that's another debate for another video, which I'll keep to another topic for some other day. And you want to subscribe to my channel to watch those videos as well, so click the bell icon right here, ding ding ding, right here. Thank you. Okay, now talking about battery life, most of these phones from the iPhone 11 to the normal size phones will give you a full day of charge. The mini and the SE will require a top up in the middle of the day to keep it running throughout the day, but still the brightness of these displays are quite on a different scale, because the SE and the 11 peak at a 625 nit typical use case, and everything beyond that have scaled it up little by little. The iPhone 12 Pro does 800 minimum and 1200 peak. The 13 series also does a 1000 and 1200 peak in the Pro 13 series, and they have 120Hz refresh rate, finally, the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. But at 1 lakh and above price range, you're really not nitpicking about the budget, so I'm not really going to talk about that or include that in any of these lists. And the LiDAR True Depth sensor as well, it's a novelty feature for most, but for those who require it, those who use it on a regular basis, it's really helpful to do a 3D map and accurate measurements. Yeah, and after that, battery life, the 11 has more than 3000 milliamp hours. The 12 series have around the 2800 to 3000, which I'll say is acceptable, except the 12 mini has a smaller 2000 milliamp hour battery. The SE has an 1800 milliamp hour battery. The new 13 mini has a 2400 milliamp hour battery, which is slightly bigger than the last one, but it still has to be improved to give a full day's charge. So if you take all of these factors into consideration, for each price point you can hit each one of these devices. So under 40 you have the SE, under 50 you have the 11, under 60 you have the 12 mini. All of these, might I remind you that all of these are the base storage variants, because the higher storage you go, it costs a bit more, and the under 70 target is the 12 and the 13 mini. From my recommendation, I would say either go for the 11 and save some money, or go for the 12 and rather than go for the 13, because the 13 and 12, there's not a huge difference between those two, and the different orientations of the sensor and the larger sensor on the 13 really would not matter for you. So if you're under 50, go for the 11. If you're under 70, go for the 12. And with that, I guess that's the end of this video. If you like this video, give this video a like, get subscribed to my channel, and ring the bell icon to receive notifications of all of my future videos. Comment down below if I missed anything, or if I'm wrong about any of these prices, or what you think would be the best iPhone device for a specific budget, and we'll have a conversation there. And as always, stay home, stay safe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.